SADC is calling for a national dialogue in the Kingdom of eSwatini. This comes after the assassination of political activist Advocate Thulani Maseko, with many accusing the government of being behind his killing. Now, since 2021, eSwatini has been hit by pro-democracy protests, which sometimes turn deadly. Let's get you some analysis on this issue and others insofar as SADC is concerned. Advocate Sipho Mantula is a researcher at the Thabo Mbeki African School of Public and International Relations. Advocate, great to have you with us on the program. Thanks for staying with us. The discussion around SADC and its ability to actually make changes on the continent, it always comes to the fore when there are issues like the ones that are unfolding in eSwatini. Is this still just a toothless organization and a boys' club on the continent?
Refreshing morning and greetings to your viewers, Michelle. And it is important to understand the role of the Southern African Development Community since its formation, but it has become a rhetoric, it has become a ritual when heads of state meet. You will recall that South Africa, as the outgoing chair, it's sitting with a dossier of why they did not deal with the national dialogue last year when there was this tension in eSwatini. And one will ask, should we wait for another human rights defender or leader to be killed if there is no proper investigation and no political will from eSwatini? And recall, Michelle, also that when we are talking of SADC, where is the people-to-people contact? Hence, within the SADC charter, you have the national committees that they don't exist. So you will have also this meeting of minds, whether Namibia, Zambia, South Africa, and the technocrats. But it seems that they are not aware of the agency and the emergency on the ground. And like I said to you, it has become a ritual, a rhetoric that is unjust, that is unlawful, that it does not also deal with the primary issues that affects this region. Considering that eSwatini also, it is going to what we call eating Kundla system electoral cycle, which we know it is not elections, but selections by the king of his own friends and family members. So if one looks at why is the Troika not having the muscle and the will, it is because they are either have taken the poisonous chalice from some of the leaders.
So not elections, but rather selections. I mean, Advocate Mantula, you bring up such an important point about the lack of people engagement from SADC. They really are just talking in an echo chamber whenever this troika comes about.
But Michelle, this has happened for many years. Actually, they are breaching Article 17 of the Charter, including South Africa as a chair that was dealing with defense, security and politics. Namibia also. And you look also in this meeting of minds that was in Windhoek, the issues around Cabo Delgado. This is a matter that is pressing. There was a footage going on where our soldiers were complicated in that situation. And also you have the issue of the DRC, which is Rwanda and the DRC that has also simmered into a conflict. You have Madagascar coming, you have Lesotho that has to do what eSwatini was asked by the Troika. But like I said to you, Michelle, it is important for this Troika and for the SADC as a body to consider the role of the civil society. Hence, you have people like Thulani Maseko who are vocal, who could even take this government to court, but he had to pay that price.
So what has been SADC's engagement over many years, not just now, with civil society and activists?
Michelle, I will tell you, whenever you have a SADC summit, you'll have a parallel NGO sessions. But in those sessions, there have never been engagement between member states and their civil society. Hence, even as South Africa, we don't know that 17 August, it is a SADC day. But you don't even encourage young people to understand that SADC is not only an economic regional body, but it also deals with the issues of politics, economy, security, climate change, education. Hence this meeting of minds, Michelle, it is important for the analysts, for the media to also hold the SADC leaders accountable if this SADC becomes irrelevant. And it seems that all the regs are not relevant. It's only where you see ECOWAS also, you see IGAD, you see EXA, but the SADC as one of the key bodies where Tshisekedi currently, as we know, he's the chair, and we know that what is happening in the AU, they will want to see the regional bodies being the one pursuing the African agenda and the African vision.
And I mean, the issues insofar as the region is concerned, Advocate, you've already named them. The issues in Cabo Delgado, in the DRC, in Lesotho that we've already spoken about, Madagascar, the DRC. I mean, they are overcountable. At what stage do we say these are the points that SADC should have moved the dial on somewhat? The body is now ineffective. We need to find another way.
You know, Michelle, I still recall in one of our activism in the human rights defenders in the SADC, we always say that once the SADC doesn't have a tribunal or what I call the human rights court, you'll always have leaders who get away with murder. You'll always have leaders who are not accountable to no one, but accountable to themselves in the fancy hotels, and also drafting statements that only talk to the elites and not to the ordinary people. And I think even academics, universities are also not doing enough to hold these leaders accountable, because once we have these summits, when you have these meetings of minds, but you find that there is nothing substantial that respond to the agency. DRC is having a conflict with Rwanda, and you have a Rwanda, you have a Kenyan process that has to take over by Uhuru Kenyatta, but it is silent. Rather, they are just welcoming the Pope. It's just a pompous ceremony. You go to the Lesotho, to the kingdom, they have to do constitutional reforms. It doesn't mean Matekane, as a newly appointed prime minister, there is nothing that is still buckling down Maseru. Madagascar, they might not go for the elections, by the way, but I think on the report of the Troika, the issue of Samim, it is important to know that also Samim has an influence of foreign countries because of the gas that is in Cabo Delgado. The role of Rwanda. Why is the Troika mum and mute about what then is the role of Rwanda, what then is the role of the USA and the EU in Cabo Delgado? So, Michelle, you have a sense where when the Troika meet, it's like a clandestine meeting of minds, but whom are they accountable to? I think that's a big question that we must always pose to our leaders whenever they meet in those fancy hotels.
Yeah, absolutely. One resolution coming out of this high-level Troika meeting, insofar as eSwatini is concerned, is SADC leaders resolving that urgent conversation needs to be held in the Kingdom of eSwatini. What that means, no one really knows. Advocate Mantula, let me thank you for your time this morning. Advocate Sipho Mantula is with the Thabo Mbeki School on Public and International Affairs. On that note, it's just gone 6:53, and as we talk about issues on the continent, Ayanda standing by with those headline stories.